Welcome back, Honestman, Skyrim, blind first playthrough. We are at the Hearthspire with Esbern standing uncomfortably close to me. But yeah, they made it here intact. There was a bunch of Forsworn here. We took care of them. That was no big deal. And now they want me to lead the way to this temple. And it doesn't look like any great mystery of the way to go here, right? Just go up the stairs. There's a cave here. Alright, well, Tweedledee and Tweedledum here. Yeah, are totally gonna blow any cover possibly could have. They have 0 chill, so I may as well go sword here, probably. Bunch of goodies here to come back through. They're strong at least, so there's that. Ooh, yeah, this is a puzzle.
This looks promising.
Yes, definitely early Akaviri stonework there.
You don't know.
Gotta get this bridge down. These pillars must have something to do with it.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yes, these are Akaviri symbols. Let's see. You had the symbol for king and warrior, and of course the symbol for dragonborn. That's the one that appears to have a sort of arrow shape pointing downward at the bottom.
Is that it? That's all you got?
We must be getting close. We should proceed cautiously.
What happened to the 30th of Frostfall, by the way?
It was a cold day. The end of Frostfall is nearly winter in the Gerol Mountains. We heard the news at Cloud Ruler by courier, riding hard from the Imperial City. 30th of Frostfall, 171. 30 years ago. The Great War started that day. The Thalmor ambassador delivered his ultimatum to the Emperor Titus Mede, the head of every Blades agent within the Aldmeri Dominion. I knew that day that it was truly the beginning of the end.
We'd best be careful in here.
Yeah.
Yes, that's it. The symbol on the pillar on the left.
Whatever you did, you worked. Let's see what those old blades left in our way.
Alright, just had to change all of them to Dragonborn. Where are you guys going? Oh, what a dum-dum. Alright, he'll figure it out. Rude. I was gonna say, is this another puzzle? Ah, yeah. Alright, I mean, clearly it's just Dragonborn again, right? You just gotta follow the Dragonborn symbols. Right? Easy. Just give this a little pull. Right? Chain. Yep. There we go.
Looks safe. Let's move.
Yes, it must be close to the entrance.
Wonderful. Remarkably well preserved, too. Ah, here's the blood seal. Another of the lost Akaviri arts. No doubt triggered by, well, blood. Your blood, Dragonborn. Look here. You see how the ancient blades revered Reman Cyrodiil?
You gonna fight me? See whose blood goes in it?
This whole place appears to be a shrine to Reman. He ended the Akaviri invasion under mysterious circumstances, you recall?
Alright, let's give this a try.
If you need help drawing some blood, let me know. It's coming to life. You should have the honor of being the first to set foot in Skyrim.
There's no telling what we might find inside.
Okay, so clearly it's midichlorians, right? Right. Otherwise, why would the blood... There's something in my blood that tells them it's Dragonborn. It's gotta be the midichlorians. Is this Alduin's wall? Come on, slowpokes. Jeez.
Alduin's wall, so well preserved. Huh? I've never seen a finer example of early Second Era Kaviri sculpture and relief.
Esmond, we need information, not a lecture on art.
Yes, yes. Let's see what we have. Look, here is Alduin. This panel goes back to the beginning of time, when Alduin and the dragon cult ruled over Skyrim. Here, the humans rebelled against their dragon overlords, the legendary Dragon War. Alduin's defeat is the centerpiece of the war. You see, here is falling from the sky. The Nord tongues, masters of the voice, are arrayed against him.
So does it show how they defeated him? Isn't that why we're here?
Ah, patience, my dear. The Akaviri were not a straightforward people. Everything is couched in allegory and mythic symbolism. Yes, yes. This here, coming from the mouths of the Nord heroes, this is the Akaviri symbol for shout. But there's no way to know what shout is meant.
You mean they used a shout to defeat Alduin? You're sure?
Oh, yes. Presumably something rather specific to dragons. Or even Alduin himself. Remember, this is where they recorded all they knew of Alduin and his return.
So we're looking for a shout then. Damn it.
You ever heard of such a thing? A shout that can knock a dragon out of the sky?
I mean, the Greybeards certainly should know.
You're probably right. I was hoping to avoid having to involve them in this.
Why?
But it seems we have no choice.
Yeah, what's your deal with the Greybeards?
If they had their way, you do nothing but sit up on their mountain with them and talk to the sky or whatever it is they do.
And clearly that's
The
not true.
Greybeards are so afraid of power that they won't use it. Think about it. Have they tried to stop the Civil War or done anything about Alduin? No. And they're afraid of you, of your power. Trust me, there is no need to be afraid. Think of Tiber Septim. Do you think he'd have founded the Empire if he'd listened to the Greybeards?
I think you're way off base here, Delphine. And with great power comes great responsibility. So I think the Greybeards may have a little bit of a point.
Only if you don't know how to use it. All the great heroes have had to learn to use their power.
That's hubris.
Those that shrank from their destiny. Well, you've never heard of them, have you? And there are the villains, those that misused their power. There's always a choice, and there's always a risk. But if you live in fear of what might go wrong, you'll end up doing nothing. Like the Greybeards up on their mountain.
They're not afraid of what might go wrong. That's not a fair characterization. I'm gonna go talk to him.
Right. Good thing they've already let you into their little cult.
Look who's
Not
talking.
likely they'd help Esbern or me if we came calling. We'll look around Skyhaven Temple and see what else the old blades might have left for us. It's a better hideout than I could have hoped for. Talos guard you.
Look here, in the third panel. The prophecy which brought the Akaviri to Tamriel in the first place, in search of the Dragonborn. Here are the Akaviri, the blades. You see their distinctive longswords. Now they need their ancient mission fulfilled, as the last Dragonborn contends with Alduin at the end of time. Are you paying attention, Delphine? You might learn something of our own history.
Yeah, history of your little cult, the Blades. Which is clearly a way better cult than the Greybeards. Douchebag. Alright, so we are back at High Hrothgar to talk with the Greybeards. I do want to note that at Skyhaven Temple, I picked up a pretty nice sword on my way out. This Dragonbane. 40 points of extra damage to dragons. And certainly I expect that I'm going to be able to refine this blade. At least that's my hope. We'll see. I'm going to give that a try. But it seems like a pretty nice sword.
Sky above, voice within. Your training proceeds well, Dragonborn.
Yes, I need to learn a shout to defeat Alduin.
Where did you learn of that? Who have you been talking to?
It was recorded on Alduin's wall.
The Blades, of course. They specialize in meddling in matters they barely understand. Their reckless arrogance knows no bounds.
What
They
is
have
this
always
beef?
sought to turn the Dragonborn from the path of wisdom. Have you learned nothing from us? Would you simply be a tool in the hands of the Blades to be used for their own purposes?
Well, you tell me, genius. Should we defeat this dragon or not? Isn't that what you want?
What I want is irrelevant. This shout was used once before, was it not? And here we are again. Have you considered that Alduin was not meant to be defeated? Those who overthrew him in ancient times only postponed the day of reckoning. They did not stop it. If the world is meant to end, so be it. Let it end and be reborn.
See, that's not the attitude I'm looking for. Where's the personal responsibility in that? So you're not going to help me?
No, not now. Not until you return to the path of wisdom.
What was that?
Dragonborn, wait. Forgive me, I was intemperate. I allowed my emotions to cloud my judgment. Master Einoth reminded me of my duty. The decision whether or not to help you is not mine to make.
Alright. You gonna sit on his lap now? I know you're gonna teach me this shout.
No, I cannot teach it to you because I do not know it. It is called Dragonrend, but its words of power are unknown to us. We do not regret this loss. Dragonrend holds no place within the way of the voice.
What's so bad about it?
It was created by those who had lived under the unimaginable cruelty of Alduin's dragon cult. Their whole lives were consumed with hatred for dragons, and they poured all their anger and hatred into this shout. When you learn a shout, you take it into your very being. In a sense, You become the shout. In order to learn and use this shout, you will be taking this evil into yourself.
I don't buy that. But I thought you knew all the words of power.
But not Dragonrend. The knowledge of that shout was lost in the time before history began. Perhaps only its creators ever knew it, but I am not the one to speak of it to you.
Okay, if it's lost, can it be refound? How can I defeat Alduin?
Only Paarthurnax, the master of our order, can answer that question, if he so chooses.
Who is this guy?
He is our leader. He surpasses us all in his mastery of the way of the voice.
Alright, why haven't I met him? Is he not here?
He lives in seclusion on the very peak of the mountain. He speaks to us only rarely, and never to outsiders. Being allowed to see him is a great privilege.
Great. How do I get to the top of the mountain?
Only those whose voice is strong can find the path. We will teach you a shout to open the way to Paarthurnax.
Are we going all the way up here? Gotta go this way. Oh, to get past the wind. Or to clear it somehow? Is that what we're doing? That did damage to me just there. I wonder if you could use that to grind restoration.
Lies through this gate. I will show you how to open the way.
Maybe you could poison yourself? I didn't consider that until now.
Look.
Clear skies.
Cool. I will grant you my understanding of clear skies. This is your final gift from us, Dragonborn. Use it well. Clear skies will blow away the mist, but only for a time. The path to Paarthurnax is perilous, not to be embarked upon lightly.
Oh, please.
Keep moving, stay focused on your goal, and you will reach the summit.
Alright. So those guys have been exceedingly unhelpful. They're all like, oh, well, maybe we should just let Alduin destroy the world, because that's a cool thing to do. But it's like, well, if that's what you believe, then why did you help me at all? Why did you call me in the first place, if not as a call to action? It just doesn't add up. It's real cold. Okay. Oh, that's Paarthurnax. Ha! My bad. My bad, dude. Yeah, got a little carried away.
Greetings, Wunderneek. I am Paarthurnax. Who are you? What brings you to my Strunmach, my mountain?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting you to be a dragon.
I am as my father Akatosh made me, as are you, Dovahkiin. Tell me, why do you come here, Volan? Why do you intrude on my meditation?
I need to learn the Dragonrand shout to kill Alduin and take his soul. Can you teach me?
Drem, patience. There are formalities which must be observed at the first meeting of two of the Dove.
You gonna fight me? Is that what this is?
By long tradition, the Elder speaks first. Hear my Thum. Feel it in your bones. Match it if you are Dovahkiin.
No, hit me.
The word calls you. Go to it. A gift, Dovahkiin. You understand fire as the Dove do. Greet me not as mortal, but as Dova. Ah, yes. Sosedo Vrostmul. The dragon blood runs strong in you. It is long since I had the pleasure of speech with one of my own kind. So, you have made your way here to me. No easy task for a Jor, mortal. Even for one of Dovahsos, dragon blood. What would you ask of me?
I've already been over this. I want the Dragonrand shout.
Ah, I have expected you, Proda. You would not come all this way for Tinvak with an old Dova. No, you seek your weapon against Alduin.
The Greybeards didn't want me to come at all. What's their deal?
Yes, they are very protective of me.
I could have killed you.
Bahlan Fadon. But I do not know the Thum you seek. Croesus, it cannot be known to me. Your kind, Jor, mortals, created it as a weapon against the Dove, the dragons. Our Hadrime, our minds, cannot even comprehend its concepts.
How can I learn it then? Who can teach it?
Drem, all in good time. First, a question for you. Why do you want to learn this Thum?
Well, I need to stop Alduin. He seems like kind of a jerk. He's bringing these dragons back from the dead, which is unnatural, okay? It's just not natural.
Yes, Alduin, Zemach, the elder brother, gifted, grasping, and troublesome, as is so often the case with firstborn. But why? Why must you stop Alduin?
I mean, yeah, and fundamentally, I'm just trying to stop the world from ending.
Prusa, as good a reason as any. There are many who feel as you do, although not all. Some would say that all things must end, so that the next can come to pass. Perhaps this world is simply the egg of the next Kalpa, Lean Vokeen. Would you stop the next world from being born?
I mean, maybe. If there's a next world, then this isn't actually the end. It's all just fake news. So, I mean, I would guess the next world will have to figure it out.
Paz, a fair answer. Rofus, maybe you only balance the forces that work to quicken the end of this world. Even we who ride the currents of time cannot see past time's end. Wulsetid los trahodis. Those who try to hasten the end may delay it. Those who work to delay the end may bring it closer. But you have indulged my weakness for speech long enough. Croesus, now I will answer your question. Do you know why I live here, at the peak of the Monavin, what you name throat of the world?
Because you're an introvert, and you probably also get killed if you're flying around town all the time. So I'm just gonna say that dragons like mountains.
True, but few now remember that this was the very spot where Alduin was defeated by the ancient tongues. Varucht Unslad. Perhaps none but me now remember how he was defeated.
I mean, it was with the shout, right?
Yes and no. Viknus Nikron. Alduin was not truly defeated either. If he was, you would not be here today seeking to defeat him. The Nords of those days used the Dragonrend shout to cripple Alduin, but this was not enough. Ok Mulag Unslad. It was the Kell, the Elder Scroll. They used it to cast him adrift on the currents of time.
Are you saying the ancient Nords sent him forward in time?
Not intentionally. Some hoped he would be gone forever, forever lost. Meye. I knew better. Tidbo Amativ. Time flows ever onward. One day, he would surface. Which is why I have lived here. For thousands of mortal years, I have waited. I knew where he would emerge, but not when.
Okay. How does any of this help me?
Tid Krent. Time was shattered here because of what the ancient Nords did to Alduin. If you brought that Kell, that Elder Scroll back here to the Tid Ahran, the Time Wound, with the Elder Scroll that was used to break time, you may be able to cast yourself back to the other end of the break. You could learn Dragonrend from those who created it.
Okay, but you're telling me that didn't actually stop him anyway. So it's not clear to me why I even need Dragonrend at this point. But okay, where can I find this MacGuffin? Where can I find this Elder Scroll?
Croesus, no. I know little of what has passed below in the long years I have lived here. You are likely better informed than I.
Yeah, the lore keeper at Winterhold. He's deep in the books. He might know.
Trust your instincts, Dovahkiin. Your blood will show you the way.
What do I do with this Elder Scroll when I find it?
Return it here to the Tid Achran. Then, Kele Vomindok. Nothing is certain with such things. But I believe the scroll's bond with the Tid Achran will allow you a seeing, a vision of the moment of its creation. Then you will feel, know Dragonrend in the power of its first expression. You will see them, Wuthfadon, my friends, Haken, Gormlaith, Feldir.
Those are dragons?
The first mortals that I taught the Thum. The first tongues, the leaders of the rebellion against Alduin. They were mighty in their day, even to attempt to defeat Alduin. Sahrot Hun. The Nords have had many heroes since, but none greater.
Okay. How could an Elder Scroll cast Alduin through time?
Vomindok, I do not know. Perhaps in the very doing, they erased the knowing of it from time itself. The Dove are children of Akatosh. Thus, we are specially attuned to the flow of time. Perhaps also uniquely vulnerable. I warned them against such a rash action. Even I could not foresee its consequences. Nustli Horn. They would not listen.
So you were there?
Yes. There were a few of us that rebelled against Alduin's Thur, his tyranny. We aided the humans in his overthrow. But they did not trust us, ni Ov. Their inner councils were kept hidden from us. I was far from here on the day of Alduin's downfall, but all Dove felt the sundering of time itself.
Yeah, so what does this shout actually do? Like, if it doesn't actually kill him, and it's the scroll that sent him through time, what did this shout actually do?
I cannot tell you in detail. I never heard it used. Kogan. It was the first Thum created solely by mortals. It was said to force a dragon to experience the concept of mortality. A truly von Mindoran. Incomprehensible idea to the immortal Dove.
Okay, so it gave him an existential crisis. Right. You're the master of the Greybeards. Do others come here to train?
I have taught the way of the voice for centuries, and the Thum since long before that. But no, Dovahkiin. Others do not come here to train anymore. Saran, you are the first in over 100 years. I meditate on the Rotmulag, the words of power. I counsel in their use. It is enough for me. Sum Arc Mora.
Okay, before we track down the Elder Scroll, since we're in the neighborhood, we'll have a quick chat with the Greybeards and then be on our way.
So, you spoke to Paarthurnax. The dragon blood burns bright within you. Did he tell you what you wanted to know? Did he teach you the dragon rend shout?
No, but he told me how to find it.
Oh, so be it. If he believes it is necessary for you to learn this, we will bow to his wisdom.
Yeah, I need an Elder Scroll the ancients used. Do you know anything of this?
We have never concerned ourselves with the scrolls. The gods themselves would rightly fear to tamper with such things. As for where to find it, such blasphemies have always been the stock and trade of the mages of Winterhold.
Yeah.
They may be able to tell you something about the Elder Scroll you seek.
Yeah, I already figured that. Is there another way to defeat Alduin? Because you're awful grumpy about this, but you haven't offered any real solutions.
Perhaps not. But this shout was used once before, was it not? And here we are again.
Yeah, you
Have
said
you
that.
considered that Alduin was not meant to be defeated? Those who overthrew him in ancient times only postponed the day of reckoning. They did not stop it. If the world is meant to end, so be it. Let it end and be reborn.
Yeah, that just means their strategy failed. That doesn't mean it can't be fixed. What's your beef with the Blades?
The Blades were born of dragon-hating crusaders. They still carry that legacy, although they may not remember from whence it came. They carried out a genocide of dragons when they first came to Tamriel. And now, they will do it again. With your help.
Well, I mean, come on. Genocide? That's... Maybe if they weren't attacking human settlements at every opportunity, there might be a way to peace. What is the way of the voice?
The voice was a gift of the goddess Kinnereth at the dawn of time. She gave mortals the ability to speak as dragons do. Although this gift has often been misused, the only true use of the voice is for the worship and glory of the gods.
Well...
True mastery of the voice can only be achieved when your inner spirit is in harmony with your outward actions. In the contemplation of the sky, Kinnereth's domain, and the practice of the voice, we strive to achieve this balance.
Yeah, exactly. So the dragons are terrorizing Skyrim. Don't you think that's a problem? Don't you think they should be stopped?
That may be what you were here for, Dragonborn. But stopping Alduin is one thing. Helping you wipe out dragons again is quite another.
But see...
Dragons are part of the natural order of the world. The Blades thought to change the order to suit themselves by wiping out the dragons. But again, we see that the natural order will be restored one way or another. Perhaps we would have dragon allies against Alduin if the ancient Blades had not acted so arrogantly.
Perhaps we'd have dragon allies right now if they weren't eating people and burning everything down. Dumbo. What's so bad about the dragon rend shout? Or are you just going to repeat what you said before and say, ah, well, it didn't actually do anything?
It was created by those who had lived under the unimaginable cruelty of Alduin's dragon cult. Their whole lives were consumed with hatred for dragons, and they poured all their anger and hatred into this shout. When you learn a shout, you take it into your very being. In order to learn and use this shout, you will be taking this evil into yourself. Sky, guard you.
Alright, I'm done with these guys. Alright. Hey, my man.
Archmage or not, my rules about books still stand. All this knowledge might have been lost were it not for you.
Indeed. Now I'm looking for an Elder Scroll.
And what do you plan to do with it? Do you even know what you're asking about? Or are you just someone's errand boy?
How dare you? Of course I do. Do you have one here?
You think that even if I did have one here, I would let you see it?
Yeah. I'm
It
the
would be kept
Archmage.
under the highest security. The greatest thief in the world wouldn't be able to lay a finger on it.
How about the Dragonborn?
What about? Wait. Were you the one the Greybeards were calling? I'll bring everything we have on them, but it's not much. So don't get your hopes up. It's mostly lies, leavened with rumor and conjecture. Fight well. Here you go. Try not to spill anything on them.
Effects of the Elder Scrolls. It is widely known among scholars that the Elder Scrolls entail a certain hazard in their very reading. The mechanism of the effects has at present been largely unknown. Theories of hidden knowledge and divine retribution were the subject of idle speculation with little investigation. I, Justinius Dolanus, have undertaken to thoroughly document the ailments afflicted by the Elder Scrolls on their readers, though a unified theory of how they manifest continues to elude me and remains a subject for future study. I have grouped the effects into 4, finding that the avenue of experience depends largely upon the mind of the reader. If this is unclear, I hope that a proper dichotomy will lay it plain. Group the first, the nails. Naifs? For one who has received no training in the history or nature of the Elder Scrolls, the scroll itself is effectively inert. No prophecy can be scried, nor knowledge obtained. While the scroll will not impart learning to the uninformed, nor will it afflict them in any adverse fashion. Visually, the scroll will appear to be awash in odd lettering and symbols. Those who know their astronomy often claim to recognize constellations in the patterns and connections, but such conjecture is impossible to further investigate, since the very nature of this study necessitates unlearned subjects. Group the second, the unguarded intellects. It is this second group that realizes the greatest danger from attempting to read the scrolls. These are subjects who have understanding of the nature of the Elder Scrolls and possess sufficient knowledge to actually read what is inscribed there. They have not, however, developed adequate discipline to stave off the mind-shattering effect of having a glimpse of infinity. These unfortunate souls are struck immediately, irrevocably, and completely blind. Such is the price for overreaching one's faculties. It bears mentioning, though, that with the blindness also comes a fragment of that hidden knowledge. Whether the future, the past, or the deep natures of being is dependent on the individual and their place in the greater spheres, but the knowledge does come. Group the third, mediated understanding. Alone in Tamriel, it would appear that only the cult of the ancestor Moth has discovered the discipline to properly guard one's mind when reading the scrolls. Their novitiates must undergo the most rigorous mental cultivation, and they often spend a decade or more at the monastery before being allowed to read their first Elder Scroll. The monks say this is for the initiate's own protection, as they must have witnessed many unguarded intellects among their more eager ranks. With appropriate fortitude, these readers also receive blindness, though at a far lesser magnitude than the unguarded. Their vision fogs slightly, but they retain shape, color, and enough acuity to continue to read mundane texts. The knowledge they gain from the scroll is also tempered somewhat. It requires stages of meditation and reflection to fully appreciate and express what one saw. Group the fourth, illuminated understanding. Between the previous group and this one exists a continuum that has, at present, only been traversed by the monks of the Ancestor Moth. With continued readings, the monks became gradually more and more blind, but received greater and more detailed knowledge. As they spend their waking hours pondering the revelations, they also receive a further degree of mental fortitude. There is, for every monk, a day of penultimate reading, when the only knowledge the Elder Scroll imparts is that the monk's next reading shall be his last. For each monk, the penultimate reading comes at a different and unknowable time. Preliminary work has been done to predict the occurrence by charting the severity of an individual monk's blindness, but all who reach these later stages report that the increasing blindness seems to taper with the increased readings. Some pose the notion that some other unseen sense is in fact continuing to diminish at this upper range, but I shall leave such postulations to philosophers. To prepare for his ultimate reading, a monk typically withdraws to seclusion in order to reflect upon a lifetime of revelations and appoint his mind for reception of his last. Upon this final reading, he is forever blinded, as sure as those unguarded ones who raced to knowledge. The illuminated one, though, has retained his understanding over a lifetime, and typically possesses a more integral notion of what has been revealed to him. It is hoped that this catalog will prove useful to those who wish to further our mortal understanding of the Elder Scrolls. The moth priests remain aloof about these matters, taking the gradual debilitation that comes with reading as a point of pride. This may serve as a useful starting point for those hoping to take up such study. Ruminations on the Elder Scrolls. Imagine living beneath the waves with a strong-sighted blessing of most excellent fabric. Holding the fabric over your gills, you would begin to breathe, drink its warp and weft. Though the plant matter fibers imbue your soul, the wretched plankton would pollute the cloth until it stank to heavens of prophecy. This is one manner in which the scrolls first came to pass. But are we the sea, or the breather, or the fabric? Or are we the breath itself? Can we flow through the scrolls as knowledge flows through, being the water, or are we struck morass of sea filth that gathers on the edge? Okay, this goes on and on and on. Yeah, what's up with this? Yeah, this Ruminations book you gave me, it sounds like gibberish.
Aye, that's the work of Septimus Cygnus. He's the world's master of the nature of Elder Scrolls, but, well, he's been gone for a long while. Too long.
Well, is he dead?
Oh no, I hope not. But even I haven't seen him in years, and we were close. Became obsessed with the Dwemer. Took off north saying he had found some old artifact. Haven't seen him since.
Oh, Jesus.
Somewhere in the ice fields, if you want to try to find him.
Ugh, clearly he's in oblivion. Okay, I think that's going to be a wrap. This turned into a huge lore dump, but we'll come back next time trying to track this guy down north of Winterhold to determine the location of the Elder Scrolls. Until then, thank you all so much. Please like and subscribe. This has been Honestman, and I'll see you next time with more Skyrim.